What up, what up? Winbush here, and today I'm excited to show you guys the live link between Quixel Bridge and Cinema 4D. Now, I was able to beta test this about a month or two for these guys, and I was working on the Redshift side of it, and I can tell you without a doubt, this is one of the biggest updates that they added to Bridge. Basically, it's like Legos. Like you set up your plugin, it works, it's talking directly to Cinema 4D, and so you go through your asset library, you click on the geometry you want, or the surface, or the atlas. You pretty much just click export, it sends it over to Cinema 4D. Everything is textured. You don't have to worry about where your texture maps go or anything. Everything's just ready to go. It's just plug and play. It's like Legos. From there, you just kind of set your pieces where you want it to go, and it's as easy as that. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. What up, what up? And so let's get right into it. I said I'll show you how to use the live link in the new Megascans Quixel Bridge 2019.1. And so to get started, I already have my Cinema 4D plugin installed. So if I click on one of my geometries here, go to export settings, export to Cinema 4D. But let's go to, let's say Maya, because I don't have it. So if you click on something that you don't have installed already, a download plugin will come in here. But I'm using Cinema 4D and I already installed that, so everything's ready to go. And so from here, all I have to do is go to my Cinema 4D. And the cool thing about Live Link is depending on which your renderer that you're using, that's what it's going to set up your materials for. And so I have the option of doing just the standard cinema, like you don't even need a third-party render engine. You could use just the standard. I have Redshift here as well, so I'll show you that as well. But let's start with the standard. And so it all depends on what you have in this render setting. So I'm gonna keep it at standard. I'm gonna come over to my bridge and this little box here that says export. I'm gonna just click on that. And then usually it takes a second or two, but you'll see on the right hand side, it says export to Cinema 4D successful. So now when I come into Cinema 4D, you just have to give it a second to calculate everything. But you can see it's starting to populate my scene with the geometry. And then also down here, in my material area, I have the material that goes along with that rock. And so it will pop on here in a second, but while we're waiting for that, I can show you that everything's already slotted where it needs to go. Like our albedo is going to be in our colored layer. If we come down to reflectance and I come down to like my base color, you can see everything where it needs to be at. And so you don't have to worry about inputting anything. Your displacement is going to be here as well. It's pretty much just plug and play. It's creative friendly for the artist, so we could just get to working. And that's basically how that works. And so just depending on, like I picked the 4K option. So my export settings, texture resolution, I did 4K. So it might take a second or two, but yeah, see, there we go. Now our texture is populated onto our geometry. And we're ready to go. You could do that with anything in the Megascans library. So let's start a new project because we're going to do this one with Redshift. So you go up to your render setting, come down to your render, hit Redshift, and then I'm just going to leave everything else alone. And that's real important because if you don't tell it what render to render to, it's not going to know what materials to set up. So I'm going to leave it on. I'm going to leave it on Redshift, come back to my bridge. And this time, actually, let me do something else. Let me do this riverbank rocks. So let me click on this, and this is just a surface material. And so what's cool about this is say that, let me click on terrain. So I'll make a new terrain. And let me bring this down, just make it like 10. Let me zoom in here a little bit. And so when you're working with a surface, you could apply that material directly to your geometry. So I want to make sure that my landscape is selected here. I'm gonna go back to bridge, click export, and you can see again everything's exported to Cinema 4D successfully, and it's already on top of my material here. So if I go to my render viewport, click play, this is, yeah, there's our rocks right there. And if we can add a dome light, so I added a dome light, we can already see some of the geometry starting to pop through. Let me just add a HDR. Let me just pick a random one here. There we go. And if you can see that it has our Redshift material tag already here. And if I click on that, you can see under geometry, the override is off by default, and that's so that you can go in and kind of specify what you want your displacement or normals to do. So if I click on override and then let this ram up again, you can see it's already bumping up from the displacement, and you could go in and you could move the attributes around as needed. And so that's the very cool feature that this update has with the Quixel bridge. Everything is quick and easy for us to just kind of pop in and populate our scene, and it's more about just working efficiently. And so if you have any comments, please leave them below, and as always, keep creating, and I'll see you next time. Thank you guys for watching.